Hi, it's Miss Norsworthy. Today we're going to talk about relative pronouns and the role of relative pronouns in complex sentences. A relative pronoun is a pronoun that introduces a dependent clause, and the pronoun acts as the subject of the clause. There are 5 relative pronouns. If you look in the chart, you see we have that, which, who, whom, whose. Take a good look at how which is spelled, W-H-I-C-H, okay? These relative pronouns will start a dependent clause and often act as the subject of the clause. The word that will tell more about things. The word which will tell about things or animals. Who, whom, and whose will tell all about people. Again, these start a dependent clause, and they're called relative pronouns because they relate to a word or a noun in the independent clause. Here's your example. We read the book that contains information about Abraham Lincoln. Well, obviously, there is our relative pronoun. It is starting the dependent clause that contains information about Abraham Lincoln. Well, what is this whole clause telling more about? The pronoun we or the noun book? If you said book, you are correct. I saw the dog which ate the cake. Here's our relative pronoun. Here's our dependent clause. Which ate the cake? Is it telling more about I or the dog? If you said dog, you are correct. The lady who made the dress is waiting outside. Our dependent clause is who made the dress. Who made the dress is telling more about the lady or more about outside. If you said about lady, then you are correct. The boy whom you met yesterday is my brother. Whom you met yesterday. Is it telling more about boy or brother? This is a tricky one. In this case, look at the word it's directly by. The boy whose bike was stolen filed a police report. Our dependent clause, whose bike was stolen, is telling more about the report or the boy. If you said boy, you are correct. When relative pronouns are used, there is no exact complex sentence formula. Usually, the relative pronoun will come in the beginning of the sentence or toward the end. Here are our examples. The lady who made your dress is waiting outside. This is our dependent clause. It comes smack in the middle of our independent clause. I saw the dog which ate the cake. Our dependent clause is coming at the end of our sentence. We did not know the tune that had been playing. Our dependent clause again comes at the end of the sentence. Again, when relative pronouns are used, there is no exact sentence formula. Let's practice. We're going to underline the dependent clause in each sentence and then circle the relative pronoun. The book that I got from the library is due tomorrow. Where is our relative pronoun? If you said that, you're correct. Now, what is our dependent clause? That I got from the library. This whole dependent clause is telling more about the book. Good. My father, whom I respect, congratulated me on a job well done. Where is our dependent clause? Good. Whom I respect. Whom is our relative pronoun. It is telling more about the father. Number 3. I am always frustrated by people who talk while watching a movie. Where is our relative pronoun? Who, that's correct. And our dependent clause is who talk while watching a movie. This is telling more about I or telling more about people. Good. If you said people, you are correct. The store no longer sold the computer that I wanted. See if you can find the dependent clause and the relative pronoun. Go ahead and look at number 5 and number 6. Let's see how we did. In each sentence, I have circled the relative pronoun and underline our dependent clause. Again, notice that sometimes The dependent clause interrupts the independent clause, and sometimes it comes at the end of the sentence. Now, commas are not always needed around these dependent clauses when they interrupt the sentence. Relative pronouns start dependent clauses, but these clauses don't always have to have commas. It depends if the dependent clause is essential or non-essential. Now think about the word essential. Essential means needed. So an essential element is a clause that is essential or needed in understanding the sentence. The clause is essential to the sentence. The opposite would be non-essential. This is where a clause is not needed in understanding the sentence. Extra information. This can get confusing. Essential elements. Again, a clause that is essential or needed in understanding the sentence. They are needed. Here is the example. The boy who was wearing the green shirt won the race. Okay? Here is our dependent clause. Notice there are no commas around it. Why? Because it is essential to understanding which boy won the race. Which boy won the race? The one who was wearing the green shirt. We need this clause in order for it to make sense. Therefore, no commas are needed. Non-essential is when a clause that is not essential or not needed in understanding the sentence. Extra information. Think of an umbrella being a non-essential or not needed item on a sunny day. Here is an example. The boy in the green shirt who won the race threw his hands in the air. Here's my dependent clause. Do we really need who won the race? Which boy threw his hands in the air? We already know that, the one in the green shirt. So we don't need who had just won the race. It is non-essential, not needed, extra information. Therefore, we have to put commas around it. Let's practice. We're going to add commas where needed. All of these sentences have a relative pronoun in them, okay? But some of them are essential clauses and some of them are non-essential. Non-essential clauses have to have commas around them. Here we go. Clearance sales, which happen rarely, are great ways to save money. Which sales are we talking about? If you said clearance sales, you're right. So technically, we already know which sales are great ways to save money. We just added this extra information in. This is our dependent clause. So if this is extra information, we can add our commas. Number 2, spiders, which build beautiful webs, eat the flies they catch. Do we know exactly which spiders we're talking about? We're just talking about spiders. So once again, this is going to be non-essential, so it needs commas around them. Number 3, the bicycle that I ride to school is quite old and needs some repairs. Here's our dependent clause. Which bicycle? Oh, this one, the one that I ride to school. This is needed in the sentence, therefore, no commas. Number 4, the truck, which was a huge machine, could carry all their belongings. Do we know which truck? Are we talking about the one that could carry all their belongings? Do you think we need commas? Go to number 5. My cousin, whose guitar playing you have heard, wants to be a musician. Think about it. Have we already named which cousin? I think we have by saying my cousin. Do we need commas? Number 6. I have a hard time believing that she really told such a lie. Do we need commas? And number 21, I don't know where that came from, but it's in there. Miss Helmuth, who was our social studies teacher, visited Rome, Italy last year. Ask yourself, do we need commas? Do we know who Miss Helmuth is? And when there's a given name, hint, hint, you do not need commas. Let's see how we did. So, number 1, we need commas. Number 2, number 4, Number 5 and number 21 all need commas.